Taking a shower and all of a sudden it just hit me, wood eyewear. That was a big moment for me.
Yeah.
Because I realized I'm not quite right for luxury eyewear. I'm actually unable to sleep the night before. And I go there and we sell $2,300 worth of eyewear. Such a simple boost of morale can create such a trajectory of success. It was the first time that Sire stopped taking money out of my pocket and put money into my pocket. And we experienced about 75% growth quarterly, every quarter for the next 5 years. They let us jump in front of the line. 5-star products need 6-star customer service. $110,000 loss in a 12-month period. 3D scan your face with the iPhone X. It's the war that I have to win, otherwise I don't get to do this as a service. All I need is 5 years to build this ecosystem for what I know people are gonna want and need regarding eyewear as a service. Because eyewear as a service is a lot about making sure I fit your style, your facial structure, your lens needs, and devoted to it on an nth degree.
Yeah.
And I just don't think anyone else does care as much. I have the first digital optical shop at Microsoft's office and Apple's office, where you can interact with that optical shop with an app that by the time you walk in, the frames are all in every frame in that shop is already, we're gonna be the place that you're like, hey, can I talk to my optician? Boop. Hey man, how can I help you? Good to see you. Oh,
Welcome to Startup Hunter. My name is Hunter and I go around to interesting startups and I want to know how they did it. We can look at startups that have made it, that are making it, or that have failed and do a post-mortem. So we're right here in Bryant Park and this is CJ Tomlinson with Cirrus Eyewear?
So the name of the company is Sire's Crown.
Sire's Crown.
Basically, we represent someone who is, all my eyewear is customizable. Everything is the client's passion put into their eyewear, whether it's wood or vinyl records or comic books or natural materials like abalone shell, or as I'm working with ocean plastics, which I was mentioning to you to help clean up the ocean. You know, there's a lot of passions that people have, or I have artists that can custom paint Van Gogh, Monet, Renoir eyewear. Those are for arts and education programs. And so I take people's noble causes they feel passionate about, things or products or elements they're passionate about, and I put it into their eyewear, and we're an optical shop that does lenses. So the name of the company is Sire's Crown. I make the Sire's Crown. I make the King's Crown. And in this day and age, we all in our own way are entitled, a bit like nobility was back in the day. We get what we want when we want, and there's not a problem with that type of entitlement as long as it's properly utilized. And so what I do is I take someone's entitlement of what they want, how they want, and we make it for them, and it supports a cause that they're passionate about. So we're Sire's Crown Eyewear.
So CJ, let's rewind this. I want to know, how did this all come about? What was the first, tell me like what the history of Sire's Crown is and how did you get involved, and where are we going to begin?
A lightning bolt in a shower.
Tell me more. I've been electrocuted in my shower, but I think this is different.
So, you know those moments where you just feel like something really odd happened? Whether it's someone that you are going to be in a relationship with and you first meet them.
Yeah.
Or an idea that you've had. And my idea, while I was working in film and television in LA, where I was having a career that I liked and I liked my life, I was taking a shower and all of a sudden it just hit me, wood eyewear. I don't know if I had a deep desire to just build something with my own hands at the time, which back in my early childhood, I grew up a home developer's son, so I definitely was used to being around building sites, and I liked being creative and making my own things always. And I don't know if I just had a desire to make something, but wood eyewear was a very odd concept that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I felt very excited about it while I was in a shower. And as many ideas happened to me, this one oddly was special that fit at a very interesting time. And I genuinely spent 4.5 years developing wood eyewear.
So tell me, when was the shower moment?
12 years ago.
12 years ago, so it's 2018, so we're talking...
So I was 24 years old,
yeah.
2006, probably midsummer.
So right before the crash.
I'm in a creative industry, so crashes don't really affect me. I'm not a financial guy, I don't have real estate. But at that time, I had a buddy who was a luxury optician. I run the idea by him. He seems to think it's a good idea, it could work. So I start making eyewear and showing him what I can do over a course of 4.5 years.
Yeah.
He keeps breaking my glasses over and over and over again until finally after 4 years, they basically become the only wooden eyewear that can handle
Ooh, this is interesting.
a prescription lens to pop into it.
Yeah, this is interesting. So this has the look at this. It has like the malleability
And here, I'll show it to you.
of plastic.
Yeah, so basically what I developed is a wooden frame that, even though this is zirconi wood, which is really, really tough, it's got the durability of a prescription lens to pop into
let's
it.
Let's show from like this angle because you can see it better.
Yeah, so whenever a lens pops in, I have to make sure that a frame can handle, here, I'll just do this. So,
And for those of you who are listening in
do me a
audio
favor.
only,
This will be perfect.
We are literally playing with this really flexible glass
So
wood.
hold this.
Yeah.
There we go. So basically, whenever a lens is popping into a frame, it has to handle 150 pounds
Look at
of
that.
shear
That's
force.
incredible.
And it's a lot of, it's pressure from the inside out. So no matter how flexible I can get the wood to go that way, or like that way, or that way, to handle shear force was a whole nother bag of tricks. And it took about 4.5 years to figure out how to utilize wood to handle that. And the secret ended up actually just being a cotton fiber and wood pulp composite substrate with wood on the outside. And since then we've become a custom eyewear house that works with all types of materials, whether it be vinyl record, as I mentioned, or comic books.
So you make glasses out of vinyl?
Yeah, I don't
which
have
one?
any here,
You
but
don't
you
have
can
any.
actually, the client can come in here and choose any vinyl record that I have in my shop, and I will make the frame out of that vinyl. They see it with the grooves of the front. They get to choose album artwork for the temples. It's a really fun process.
All right, so unpack for me, if you would. Okay, I have a lot of questions actually about all of your offerings, and I want to get to that. But let's stay focused. And so 4 years go by, and you keep on getting better while you're working, I assume, in your film career. You keep on getting better at making glasses, and you keep going back to this optician. And was he a friend of yours?
Yeah, he's a buddy.
Okay. What you said 4.5 years. So what was this moment after 4.5 years? Like, did he start selling them for you, or?
Yeah, so the plan was he would sell for me.
Yeah.
Because he had sold eyewear, and he tried his best to kind of utilize sales the way he knew eyewear sales to happen. But it wasn't quite working, and he didn't go about it in a conventional way where, people in the optical industry were like, well, you're not a frame rep. You're not coming. Most people go talk to their frame rep about eyewear they want to buy. Or one of our closest sales actually almost happened from Twitter, from someone who was watching a TV series that I had done at the time and was following me on Twitter. Well, he was the son of a actually pretty well-established, famous Rodeo Drive optical shop. And I go in there and I meet with him and I show him my glasses, and his son is just a total fan of the eyewear. And the frame collection for its first run wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I look back on it and I see why he didn't take us on. He let us know, you guys are doing a really good thing, but it's not quite right for my shop.
So
and
what do you think?
that was a big moment for me.
Yeah.
Because I realized I'm not quite right for luxury eyewear, which is what we were trying to develop at the time, was a luxury eyewear frame. And I realized, you know what? I don't know if I want to be in a luxury eyewear shop anyway. I don't know if I want to be. I don't purchase personally. I don't have the buying power to purchase, unattainable items. Like, I don't have a Panerai watch. I don't drive a Maserati. Like, I don't have luxurious things in my life. Not to say that I don't buy quality. And that's where we were. We were actually quality, but maybe I didn't want to be luxury, and that changed some things for me. So maybe I didn't want to wholesale at all. And my business partner and I, we went to an art walk, and we just showed our glasses to people in the public. I was in between a drum circle and a guy spray painting art. And man, I mean, I don't know if people are gonna dislike my products at the time. I'm actually unable to sleep the night before, and I go there and we sell $2,300 worth of eyewear.
Well, so
that was a big deal.
That
for
is
us.
a big deal.
And it was a major, it was a lot of gas to the fire. Where at the time, no investors were investing in us. Nothing was like that ever happened. So any type of fist bump to your ego, to your, anything that builds confidence is very important in an early stage. I actually have a friend of mine who is on his way to becoming a fairly successful, if not famous, musician. He's done his 4th album, tours all the time, and I listen to him do podcasts. And luckily, I got to be one of the first people he ever heard play the guitar. And he still, to this day, in podcasts, talks about the fact that he doesn't know if I hadn't told him, you sound amazing, if he ever would have played for anyone again. And that's crazy that such a simple boost of morale can create such a trajectory of success. And to this day, we've since become the only custom optical shop in North America that makes eyewear face-to-face for its clients. The only eyewear company on the planet that specializes in wood, vinyl records, and comic books as a material.
Incredible.
The only full-scope virtual optical shop on the planet, meaning I can size you, style for you different frames for your face. You pick a style, I make that frame fit your bridge, pupillary distance, and facial width, and hook behind your ears properly so that when you look down, it doesn't, slide down your head. And I get your pupillary distance so proper that I'm within what's called ANSI standard, which is 0.5 millimeters outside the center of your pupil. You're no longer within ANSI standard. You're inducing a refraction. So I'm able to do what I'm able to do as a digital optical shop what normally no other optical shop can do unless they're working with you face to face in their shop. I can do that from wherever you are all around the world.
So let's roll it back. So you're at the farmer's market. You sell $2,300 worth of lenses. Is this about 4 years in? Is this 6 years in?
This is 4.5 to 5 years in.
So we're still 2010.
Yeah, and on a cool note, another really cool moment that I got to give a shout out to a really cool actor. There's a gentleman by the name of Michael Rosenbaum.
Okay. Now, what would we know him in? Because
he was Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Of course. I love him.
He's the voice of Flash. And let me tell you something, dude. You should love him. He's an ultimate badass guy, a gentleman, and he has a really cool podcast. Shout out to Inside of You. Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside of You, is a really, really cool podcast. They break down, all the bullshit, and they really get you to an honest point. And he has amazing conversations, and was our first purchase ever. And actually bought because he had been working with my now business partner Chris, and he had bought from him because he had been buying eyewear from his optical shop before that he managed. And Michael bought 3 of our glasses.
Now, is this Chris the same guy who ran the optical shop? Or
Yeah. Yeah, and so this guy Michael Rosenbaum. So this guy Michael Rosenbaum.
A customer just tried to come in.
So this guy Michael, we're in an active.
This is the
optical
booth
shop
in Bryant Park.
It is the only pop-up optical shop that exists on the planet that can pop up anywhere we go and be a full-scope optical shop. So funny. Michael Rosenbaum bought 3 of our glasses. It was the first time that Sire stopped taking money out of my pocket and put money into my pocket.
Right, which is a really important.
It's a big moment.
It's a big moment. But what I know,
and I give a little homage to him in a sculpture that I made, which is actually in the shop. It's a dinosaur with glasses that I made for the dinosaur skull, and I call him client number 1 to allude to the fact that we're a 1.5 million year old company, but even more importantly that, look, we not only will make eyewear for anyone. I like to think that if I was around 1.5 million years ago, I would have taken another natural material at the time, stone, and probably would have tried to make eyewear to fit T-Rex, who had notoriously bad vision. And below that actual statement of why I would have made eyewear for him, I mentioned Michael Rosenbaum, who is our actual client number 1, and still to this day our champion. And that helped so much. Little morale boosts like that helped so much.
So you get a little bit of profit, but what I know in business is it's not necessarily like you're profitable one day and then you're just profitable. Like there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of push, it's a great morale boost, but we're still at 2010, which is 8 years ago. So take me, what was the next step after, you had your great farmer's market moment. You had your champion in Michael Rosenbaum, but how did you get to the next step, and what do you think the next step was?
I mean, so it basically became a game of growth, and the way I described it that I didn't see coming. Whenever I sold a frame, if I wanted to double the size of my company, which was pretty much nothing at the time, if I wanted to double the size of my company, then I had to not only replace that frame, but I had to make another one. So it became a really difficult game for profit because I'm now, let's say I want to grow 2 times, that's difficult. And I didn't want to grow 2 times. I wanted to grow 3 and 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And we did. We experienced about 75% growth quarterly, every quarter for the next 5 years. So what we did was we started really hitting, give me 1 second. Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm sorry.
No worries. We're just recording a podcast, but I'm a custom optical shop.
I am so sorry.
No,
please.
I'm not here for the podcast. I'm here for you. How do you want to try on some glasses?
Are they prescription?
Yep.
Or?
Well, I'm a custom optical shop.
Okay.
And all you have to do is text me your prescription, and I make it at my shop in LA, and I ship to you in the South.
I'm sorry I told you. I don't need wear glasses.
Okay, where are you from?
Virginia. I'm
Right on.
looking for reading glasses.
Okay. So, have you ever tried a digital progressive?
You know?
Did you just start wearing readers? So
And
just
I've been to the doctor and there was nothing because I thought they
yeah. So just so you know, there's a mentality behind readers and a mentality around digital progressives. If you ever did a digital progressive, you'd have 0 up top, computer zone, and a reader right here, which is a frame you wear all the time. Which means you're not taking it on and off, you're not going to lose it, you're not going to scratch it and break it. So consider digital progressives in the future. They're very helpful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers. So we were growing at, can I just jump back in?
Jump back. I don't even think I'm going to cut that.
So,
I think it's great.
We want to jump, and dude, on a cool note, man, actually eyewear as a service like that is where we're going to continually reign supreme. Is that I want anyone that has eyewear fitting questions, lens questions, to work with us face to face and even have short little 3-minute conversations with our designers and stylists.
Well, that is what I think your attention to customer service really excels, and I do want to get into that. But we're talking about growth.
So we grew 75% every quarter for 5 years.
Now, what was the shape of this growth? Are you physically in a store?
No, we're in a garage.
You're in a garage, and you're selling at farmers markets?
So we start hitting a couple craft fairs, art shows, then we get into this weird thing on the Santa Monica Promenade where every weekend they open up one kiosk for an artist, and we get into that kiosk.
Sounds like the kiosk.
Well, we beautifully, because we're making a unique product, this unique product that no one else is making was literally a ninja sword that got us through a lot of where I think jewelers and things like that have a lot of difficulty because it's a very competitive market.
Sure.
The moment anyone found out that these people making wooden eyewear and we did prescription lenses, they let us jump in front of the line. And I know that's, you take what you can get in life, and that was definitely something that helped us a lot in our early years. Is the moment we wanted to get into an event, no one had heard of us. Well, we make something that you can't get anywhere else. Sure, 5-year waiting list, but you're at the front of the line. And this show that we did on the Promenade ended up costing us a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. We had to staff it. I had to build a kiosk.
Yeah.
We got to meet some very high-end clients that way. And it definitely started making revenue every weekend. So my first year, I was like, man, I hope I sell $30,000 worth of eyewear. We sold, I think, 90. The second year, man, I hope we beat that because that was a really crazy year. If I remember correctly, we did about 150.
Yep.
Next year, we hit like 240. And it just kind of kept growing.
Yeah.
Every quarter was just growth and growth and growth. And then we hit a plateau.
Now this is interesting.
2015.
So what was this plateau?
We bought some bad manufacturing equipment from a really crappy company called Roland.
Yeah. And the equipment, I assume, was quite expensive.
Very.
And
we learned the power of customer support.
Yeah.
The other major turning point and lesson in life is 5-star products need 6-star customer service.
So I want to get to that. This machine, were you able to service it at all?
It broke.
Okay.
And they did service it.
Yeah.
But it still broke unbeknownst to us. So let me paint you a picture.
Yeah.
To basically cut to the end of it, and I'm going to pull it back so you know where we did. In a 9-month period, my customer service had to grow 3,000%.
Yeah, so this is a big burden on your company.
$110,000 loss in a 12-month period.
Yeah.
I was making eyewear with custom comic book art.
Yeah.
And we were digitally designing the frames with the clients virtually. And at that time, we had created a really cool interactive digital design system. I had two full-time graphic designers working face-to-face virtually with clients all over the world, doing custom artwork.
Yeah, that's sort of
Superfly.
Sort of like this right here.
That's actually a custom painted frame.
So do we have any of the digital customs here?
I don't see. There's one right there on the green record.
Cool. So I just want to show people, and for those of you listening at home, I just picked up a pair of...
And I'm just going to show you the story that we have for every single person we work with.
Yeah.
So this is comic books that my client really likes and that he wants his kid to like, and he thinks are really cool. And so not only did he get a frame made with all of his favorite comic books and his kid's favorite comic books, but he actually had his son
Oh my God.
and him put into the frame, which was very important to him. And that's what, you know what, we just care about everyone having something important in their eyewear. You're gonna wear it. It kind of really walks before you. It's the most important accessory that people wear.
So I'm curious. Did you get another machine? Like, how did you solve that issue?
So we developed another way of making our product because the machine actually put artwork directly onto the frame, and it coated it with a UV cured it, coated it with an epoxy, and at some point their cleaning material got into the lines of the print, and we found out from some of our clients that were in Dubai, in the UK, in Italy, that by the time they got their glasses, the artwork had flaked off of the frame.
Ouch.
And this was 3 months after manufacturing, and there are still to this day clients that in our first 3 months wear our glasses and they wear them beautifully. Mm-hmm. They still look beautiful. Yet after 3 months, it went through some cleaning solution process. We didn't know what was going on. We made about 50 frames with it like that. All 50 frames were ruined in 3 weeks. Now, by the time we found that out, we did an immediate recall and we stopped manufacturing. Tried to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what was going on.
So this could have been the end.
Like the cleaning solution was just something that we barely even remembered because it happened for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It went through some weird thing and then it stopped and then it reset and then we were good. So we started making stuff. Barely remembered it 3 weeks later whenever everything started coming back. So now I had to stop the manufacturing of about 110 to 120 frames that were in process. Bring the technicians into the service the thing. They flush the lines. They do as much as they can. We do new prints. We test it. Everything looks perfect. Boom, fixed. So
you thought.
So we remake everything.
Uh-huh.
All of our clients, we've let them know, guys, total mess up. We fixed it. It's all good to go. Here you go. Here's your glasses. We do tests. We do UV tests. We do water tests. Everything's perfect. Except it turns out, as we've learned, water molecules are smaller than the print molecules, and they actually get into the lines. And now, the cleaning molecule actually is smaller than water molecule, so the water didn't push everything out.
Yeah.
So there's still particles in there that get into the ink.
Yeah.
So much that it doesn't flake off in 3 weeks. It takes 3 months.
Wow.
So now, I've not only fixed clients' frames all over the world and paid for shipping and sent things back, and I'm fighting every refund because it's almost impossible to pay people at this point. My finances are hurting. But now I've made 3 months worth of clients that I have to call back every one of them. And yeah, over a 9-month period, we get slaughtered online.
Yep.
We are a 5-star reviewed company before and now.
Yeah.
Online, Google, on Yelp, and still to this day, one of my first reviews on Yelp is a client who has since redacted her original review with new posts, but that original is still there under it, and it's her talking about the art issue.
Yep.
The company claims no fault of their own. So I start actually taking frames to their lab in LA or in Orange County, driving 45 minutes, taking frames to their shop, having it made on their equipment with their person right then and there. And we literally spend 2 years working with them to try to get this better because it is a great product if it just works. That I'm like, okay guys, I need to prove to you that this is not, it's our machine, it's not your machine, it's this machine messed up. They won't believe it, they don't believe it, we're showing them the frames.
So this is the role in the machine manufacturer.
We're showing them everything, and then check this out, 2 years in, one day, their machine starts doing it. Their machine goes through the same thing, and I'm like, that's what it did.
Yeah.
That's what it did. And the guy's like, huh, what? And he resets it, he does it, he cleans it, And sure enough, I can flake the ink off.
Yeah.
And I prove to them that it's theirs. And the technician comes, he can't fix it. He doesn't know how to fix it. They even start running tests with their acrylic because I'm making with the material that they're claiming my material is the problem, and it won't stick to their material. Sorry. And it won't stick to their material. And so literally to this day, they've gone non-compliant, won't respond to any emails anymore.
So what's your solution? How are you making glasses if you have...
So we bailed on them.
Yeah.
We have to get a lawyer. We
Yeah.
have to play that game, except I'm not a guy who makes money on lawsuits. I'm a guy who makes money on eyewear development.
Well, I'm on the same page.
So I go back into eyewear development. And I make my glasses. I redevelop the process on how to make it.
Yeah.
We resupply all of our clients. Every client, pretty much besides less than 1% or 2%, stick with us. None of them are happy, but they know we're a small company,
Yeah.
and they don't sink us. And yeah, man, still to this day, 3.5 years later, I'm still feeling it.
Yeah.
I just now, about 9 months ago, started to get to really focus on development as a new eyewear company. So we're now able to do things, now that I've gotten back into development, we're now able to do things as an eyewear company once again that are unheard of in the eyewear industry.
Such as
Ocean plastic
these guys
eyewear,
right here.
or
Look at these. We have primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. Ocean. Look at these. They're like translucent.
So this is actually
they
a plant.
pop.
This is actually a plant-based plastic. This is something that we've developed for a long time, but we're going to be buying ocean plastic whenever they start selling it through the Ocean Cleanup Program, which is going to be a phenomenal program put on by that 15-year-old kid who did a TED Talk. And now to this day, he's CEO of the company, and they're pulling out plastic. They actually just launched their first initiative in San Francisco on September 8th, I believe.
Super cool.
Which they're pulling out plastic from the ocean and cleaning it in the major gyres of the world, and they're going to sell that plastic when it comes out. And people need to buy that plastic, like me, and make products out of it.
So
that's going to be a company I call Sea Glass. Let's look for it in 2019.
Sea Glass is your thing, or
Yeah, it's mine.
yeah, and these are the first things,
Yeah.
the first glasses that
Yeah, and I'm going to make a lot of eyewear out of ocean plastic.
I think it's fantastic.
But so we're also 3D printing eyewear. We can scan your face virtually, get your sizing, take any shape you've always wanted to wear and make it fit your bridge, your pupillary distance, your facial width, and then from there you get to choose any wood elements, any art elements, and even
So are
just
people must be using you if you're
we're
doing
booked
that
up through March
that level
for that kind of frame.
If people must be using you if you're doing that level of customization for like theater stage prop kind of things.
I mean, I can't say who we've made glasses for most recently. I'm actually NDA'd.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, there's some pretty cool things. It's not like the major part of our company, but really, man, at the end of the day, a lot of people out there just need a frame that was made for their face because they have very unique facial structures.
Indeed.
And eyewear is specifically unique to an industry of to a world of mass manufacturing. I mean, to fit your bridge, your pupillary distance, and your facial width, and your ear length, and to counteract those sizes that you need with maybe a high prescription that has a very thick lens, it's a lot of games you have to play. And people are used to trying on about 100 frames before they pick their frame that they're going to buy. We don't. Our average client tries on 4 to 5 frames.
So are you, and I hate to sound like I didn't just hear what you just said, but are you, tell me, can you simplify how you're customizing, and what a frame, like, can you give me an example here?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually none here.
Yeah.
So there's, you can 3D scan your face with the iPhone X. I can get an OBJ file of your face.
Okay.
And from there, my engineers can take frame shapes, showing whichever frame shape you want, put it on your face, and then start making calculations to keep it off of your cheekbones, or make it fit your bridge, or make it, horn out to go behind your head.
And this would be obviously a plastic material.
Yeah.
And
but it's also lean manufacturing, no waste.
And do you get style options in that? What do you call that program as part of your in your company?
So this is just a part. We're Cyrus Crown. We're a custom eyewear house.
Right, you're a brand.
Yeah. So this is part of my Crown collection.
So what like if I want to go to your website and I want a 3D measured iPhone measured, like where do I find that in your website?
So this is a brand new product. It's not even really
super.
Yeah, it's not even launched. And yet we're already booked up through March, because at the end of the day, it's really something that people just need. It's such a deep need in the eyewear industry that I don't even have to market it for people to need it. And I'm sold up through March.
Yeah.
My engineer is backed up full time until probably mid-February.
All right. So let me just like ruminate a little bit. I just want to say what I'm seeing in the store right now. So what is that thing?
That's Monet's irises.
And that's been painted.
Van Gogh's irises.
That's been painted by a painter.
By Irina Dragomir.
And so we're seeing here, these are some painted items on your wooden frames?
Yeah, so I found an artist that can do basically masterpieces.
Yeah.
And if you like Van Gogh, Monet, and Renoir, she can do any painting. I mean, we've even had a famous artist send her the book that he had been published that Jerry Bruckheimer was picking up for a film, and asked for her to do a rendition of, after she read that book, whatever she was inspired to paint.
And she came up with something.
It was beautiful.
Amazing.
You know, at the end of the day, people just like to have something expressed on their frames.
Okay, so moving on, I'm seeing, this is your wooden frames over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm known for.
And we covered that before, like super flexible. And then I'm seeing plastic. Now, is that the right word, or is this acrylic?
That's a clear acrylic plastic. It's just a new material that it's been around since the 50s. I'm not really playing too much with it. I actually brought it into my shop, and I'm learning that plastic glasses, clear plastic actually gets to do a very unique thing to the wearer that sits outside of my design techniques.
Yeah.
Which is actually can fit a little bit smaller than I would normally design a frame for someone. But because it's clear, it breaks a couple of rules. So clear is something that we might be playing with in the future because it plays another game. It adds another weapon to the arsenal that, from an eyewear designer, we utilize in a very specific way. Everything that we make is utilized for very specific reasons.
All right, so I want to take it in a completely, like a real business kind of direction.
Okay.
Even though it's not as fun as
No, I'm actually way more fan. As much as I love eyewear as a service, I love that the business of what I do, it is the strategy. It is the war that I have to win. Otherwise, I don't get to do this as a service.
So, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which I'm wearing. Warby Parker.
I love them. I love them.
How?
They're a t-shirt, I'm a dress shirt.
Yeah. So you literally answered the question that I was going to ask.
We serve the market from the same standpoint, just hitting the market from one angle. They're coming in and saying, look, I'm going to use your exact same manufacturing methods, and because you guys are making way too much money on these products, and LensCrafters and Luxottica and all those guys were, Warby Parker just basically capitalized and exploited on a very greedy multi-billion-dollar corporation's distribution method that was untouchable up until e-commerce. And then Warby Parker established, here's how people are willing to buy glasses online, and here's the maximum amount of money they're willing to spend on it.
Yeah. So it's interesting since we're talking about money, because my pair of glasses here were under $200, and I know that these guys are $150. These plastic, C plastic, and what's the name of the C plastic?
Sea glass.
Sea glass, and so these are really super competitive with what I'm wearing or anything you'd find in a Walmart or anything. So like, I would categorize this as like consumer level or like low,
kind of a low level market.
So
it's high low.
Whereas you do have some items that are in the wooden items and especially
it's low luxury.
Yeah, it's low luxury. So I think Warby is strictly low. They're
mid-low.
They don't do luxury at all.
But they hit a mid-low market. Like, an average Warby Parker client probably makes over $30,000 a year. They're not poor. Like an average Zenni optical client.
I've never even heard of them.
Zenni is, if you are broke and you need glasses, check out Zenni.
So they're the Cricket Wireless of glasses.
And I'm not going to try to beat them.
Yeah.
I'm always going to try to establish the best experience of buying eyewear that I can do.
Yeah, and that is really, from the moment I met you, and I even met in this booth that we're in Bryant Park, New York City, 42nd Street. I even met some of your associates here on a previous day, and the design of the booth is just this for those of you listening, it's just this kind of collage, and there's so many visual things going on here. So like I have a real visual affinity for amazing visual style, and so that immediately is what brought me in here. And you know, that I think that's a really important thing in starting a business, which is, you know, the appearance of it, of the store. Which is, it's a weird thing to have a store right in 2018, and yet here we are in a store. But I think it's super necessary too. Like,
it is necessary, and it's becoming a part of our business strategy. So, funny enough, everyone's getting ready to run to online. Online's already a big behemoth. Brick and mortar is going down is basically the mentality of every business right now, which is funny because for the last 12 years, I've been like, man, let's hit online eyewear and make an online eyewear purchase that's better than anyone else is doing. And we are. Our online eyewear sales have grown 1,000% in the last 18 months. So we are distributing low luxury eyewear that's not a brand name, that you've never personally tried on, and our clients are very happy with their purchases. So we did establish an interesting thing, except now I'm actually moving into a brick and mortar system.
right.
I'm very ready,
Yeah.
and I already know how I want to hit it and what it's going to do and how it's going to serve us.
So tell me, how do you want
It's an
to
experience.
hit it?
It's an experience.
Yeah.
When you walk in, it's a museum.
As we are in a definite did you design this?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, you're going to be in what I call the Museum of Eyewear Design, which I own. I own museumofeyeweardesign.com. No one thought to do it.
Yeah.
And I actually own museumofeyewear.com.
I love it. We are in one.
Yeah, and on a cool note, when you walk into the Museum of Eyewear, the people that work there, they're going to know a lot about eyewear. A lot.
Yeah.
And constantly re-educated about competitors, where things are going, the history and the future. And you're going to get to see some cool stuff about eyewear that by the time you walk out, even if you didn't buy from us, the next optical shop you walk into is going to be so underwhelming, it's not even going to be funny.
Yeah, so I think...
And then there's also going to be a major distribution system from there, and there's going to be a lot of different eyewear brands that we are developing and constantly working on. So at the end of the day, it's just going to be, a very nimble and continually evolving company that I think is going to slowly segue into augmented reality and serve eyewear as wearable tech, and that's going to be a cool process, and it's going to beat Warby Parker at that game, where Warby Parker is a brand. They've established their brand image, and they have maximized how many people are willing to look exactly the same in the same eyewear. And that's their problem, is they're maybe growing a little too big, they're getting a little too close to the sun, and they're not gonna evolve.
So,
unfortunately.
I have a question for you. Are you open to selling your company? Is there a price?
100%.
There is a price.
Absolutely.
There is a price in your...
Just let me run it for the next 5 years.
Just
buy me out, let me run it for the next 5 years, and in 5 years, you're going to see an eyewear company that has so much American organic DNA in it that China will not be able to touch it.
So there's a very similar model with the CEO of Whole Foods. So Amazon acquired Whole Foods, and the CEO of Whole Foods is still, running the show.
Great.
And it's interesting, there's a lot of ways it can go.
There are a lot of ways it can go. And honestly, something that I'm learning is, if we take a look at Steve Jobs, and this is by no means referencing me as Steve. Let's take a look at Steve Jobs, and
I'm a big fan.
That's cool. Have you heard of him? He knew in 1985 what people were going to want right now, and unfortunately it took him 16 years to make it, but by the time he made it and he got it in your hands, it was like finally, I got you in the tool that I've been wanting you to have. And whenever everyone put it in their hands, it was basically just everyone going, oh wow, obviously I needed this. And Steve knew you needed it. He knew it. From 1985, and he started building an ecosystem that was not only going to give you what you needed, but give you an operating system that was seemingly immutable. It was, you couldn't break into it like a PC if you tried, and it was this entire ecosystem that you could thrive and you could grow, and he knew creatives were going to step into it and add they were going to add their DNA into the system because it was built for the creatives. Like, he knew it, and he built an ecosystem for what he knew. And at the end of the day, all I need is 5 years to build this ecosystem for what I know people are going to want and need regarding eyewear as a service.
So tell me more about eyewear as a service. Like, and let me just preface you. I'm an eyeglass wearer. I need glasses, and I know I have friends who don't need glasses yet they still wear glasses. But my personal story, I need glasses. I'm very forgetful. I'm very. It's very easy for me to lose things.
Yeah.
My dad, when I was about 13 years old, he didn't whoop me, but he was like
It sucks when your kid loses a very expensive
no,
tool,
it was the seventh.
sure.
It was the seventh pair.
I can't imagine. I know, man. I meet parents that it happens to it, and I mean, now it's a little less expensive. Back then, man, in 90, 85, I mean, when you're a kid, like...
I'm about the same age
dude,
as you
I
are.
cannot imagine how tough it was for a middle-class family to buy their child a third pair of $300, $400, $500
Exactly.
pairs of glasses.
Exactly.
Like, dude, that's awful.
So yeah, glasses were expensive. I had heard these rumors. I had a teacher who had spent some time in Taiwan, and I heard these rumors from him that he was I think he was bragging, look at my $100 eyeglasses. I'm like, I have to go to Taiwan and get, and that
Now
never,
you can buy $5 glasses in Taiwan,
oh
by
my
the way.
God, that sounds great.
No, it's awful.
So
that's cool. There's going to be a lot of people hitting that low-hanging fruit in the next 5 years. It's just going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
But it comes back to this word which you said, which was quality. But to even take that back further, tell me about eyeglasses as a service. What is that?
That's the quality. So earlier I mentioned sell a 5-star product and get a 6-star customer service.
Yeah.
So take the best quality that you kind of want to utilize within a reasonable profit, within a reasonable price. What's the best quality I can get you at a price that you're willing to pay, so that I can then take that money you gave me and build you a customer support system on the back end that throughout the years of wearing it, you're going to be so grateful, because you're not going to even remember how cheap, this is not a cheap dinner. This is not cheap jeans that you're going to wear for 3 months. If this services you for a long time and you never had issues because we were always there for you in a matter of a moment to help you out virtually, we now get to utilize technology as a service tool that shows you one-on-one interaction at its best, because it's vision. And we're basically exploiting the most important accessory today, utilizing technology that's been around for 5, 6, 7 years. It just, no one's done it. No one's really been servicing eyewear from a design, manufacturing, styling, and customer support standpoint.
Well, most people just, I'm looking, I would say like my gloves, although I have to say these gloves are fantastic, and I got them for $5 on Amazon, but most people just like, as long as they're making a profit, they don't care if the gloves deteriorate on their customers.
100%.
They're making a profit. The gloves are not shitty enough so that when they do break, the customer goes, oh, these broke in 2 days. I'm never gonna go buy these again. These babies, I have to say, are an improvement on that. These have lasted me, 2 months, and I would totally drop $5
Anytime you needed it.
when they deteriorate.
100%.
I think service and quality is an amazing thing, and
there's a game you play with that. So for example, whenever you get your glove like that, there's a different market for the person that is willing to do that, and that just serves the purpose because they're not always going to need gloves. And when they need gloves, they're easy to find, so they're everywhere. So mass manufacturing can flood the corners of Manhattan with that glove that you need, and it's not going to be so crappy that you don't come back and it was the right price. Like, that's the game they play. Whereas, I saw your umbrella.
yeah.
Your umbrella is not a $5 umbrella.
Well, it sort of is. these babies are my
Martens?
ducks.
Okay.
So that's
they got you on another level. They got you on that service.
Oh, there's no question. Like,
And won't they resole those for forever?
I think they
I think
are.
there's something crazy about they'll resole your shoe or something.
I see you've heard, like, if somebody's listening, they can verify that, or I'm gonna verify this after. But I whatever I spent on this was worth it. I think it was 150, and I just did a segment of my YouTube channel where I searched for 12 pairs of boots. I had $5,000 worth of Zappos in my house. And, I'm trying them on, and I wasn't satisfied. I went out to New York City. I wanted to see brick and mortar, and, I got some ideas. I found some amazing brands that I had.
Wow, you really went on a hunt.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And I'll tell you right now, let me tell you right now.
We're getting a little off track.
We're not getting off track. In the next internet,
Yeah.
in this next wave of life, the best boot should be able to find you. Or, and this is where we specialize, the person that knows more about boots than anyone you've ever met should be someone that you get to have a conversation with, and they should be able to distribute your boot. We shouldn't be dealing with Zappos and having clients look for things that they don't know anything about. What you technically should be able to do in this day and age is you should be able to connect with that guy who not only makes his own boots, but distributes other people's boots that he thinks are brilliant around the world, because he's propping up the independent boot market, and he's an independent boot maker. And when he sells you something, he's taking all the data of everything that you need, whether it's a nice dinner or a boot to hike the Himalayas, and he gets you that perfect boot, and when you wear it, it shines.
And you're doing the same with glasses.
That's where I am with glasses. Eyewear as a service. Because I don't hate Warby Parker. And when I have a conversation with you, people know this about me regularly when they work with me, I might recommend Zenni to you.
Yeah.
And I don't distribute Zenni. But look, man, Zenni's right for you. Go check them out.
I mean, I want these red glasses right here. Like, these are my director glasses. Like, I'm just trying them on right here, and I mean, look at it, how it pops against my blue hat and my white.
Well, this is going to be an amazing conversation piece, but if I could be honest with you, from an eyewear stylist perspective, if you were my client and we were talking,
Okay, let's show everyone.
rather than put you into something just absolutely funky and crazy,
Okay.
by analyzing your style, I'm probably going to just make a recommendation of a frame that fits your facial structure, your bridge, your pupillary distance, works within your style. It weighs 0.3 ounces.
Now let's see how these
It's
look.
made out of a beta titanium invented for NASA. The engineer who owns the patent for this metal, his nephew, the nut didn't fall too far from the tree, engineered the hinge system, which, by the way, hold this right here.
Okay.
And we're going to play tug of war. You need to hold tight.
Oh, boy.
Hold on the metal.
I don't want to break
hold
your
on the
glasses
metal.
here.
No, this is fun. These are $300 glasses. Hold it.
I'm holding it.
Okay, pull. Pull. You're not pulling.
I don't want to pull.
Yes, you need to pull. You need to pull because you're
I
off
will
camera now.
slowly-
You pulled that way, and
I
I'm
will
pulling this
slowly-
way. Keep going.
What
Keep
happens if I
going.
break one
Go.
of your-
Then we're gonna break it. Go. Pull. You're not
Jeez.
pulling.
All
this
right.
This is a frame that we
I'm
can
pulling.
distribute.
Look at that. I pulled hard enough
Because
that
he
the
let go of the metal. He let go of the
plastic-
metal and pulled the
plastic thing came off.
But regardless, this frame is indestructible. It's an interlocking hinge system.
Yeah.
This is a brilliant frame. This is an independent eyewear maker from Poland, and I definitely distribute his work.
Yeah.
Because just because you need eyewear doesn't necessarily mean you need my eyewear. And I can sell his eyewear. And I can sell other independent eyewear, which is why I make other independent eyewear lines.
So tell me,
Because eyewear as a service is a lot about making sure I fit your style, your facial structure, your lens needs. And there's a lot of different games you can play when it comes to that.
so CJ, I think you are like the king of eyewear.
I should be. I am devoted to it on an nth degree.
Yeah.
And I just don't think anyone else does care as much.
Yeah, I believe you. On that note, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I didn't cover?
Where things are going.
Yeah.
And why am I interested in the eyewear industry?
Go ahead.
Any industry that you're going into as an entrepreneur needs to have a future. If you're an entrepreneur and you come up to me and you're one of the most brilliant people I've ever met, and you tell me you are infinitely passionate about Yellow Book and Yellow Books for future of businesses, so people can open up a book and tell me and find businesses' phone numbers and sell ad space in a Yellow Book, regardless of your brilliance, regardless of your data, regardless of your passion, I'm not going to be interested.
Why?
Not as an investor, not as a customer, because it's an outdated, archaic concept. Simply put.
So
where you're going needs to have a destination worth going to. You know, let's not be Thelma and Louise and take our passions and drive it off a cliff.
yeah.
You need to have a destination, and hopefully that destination is sunny and warm, and there was enough money at that destination for a hotel so that you have a place to stay and support your family. Like, hopefully where you're going as an entrepreneur, the journey was worth it. Regardless of how much you learned, I just really hope everyone knows that what you're focusing on and what you're doing needs to have a future. And I'm talking at least 5 to 10 to 15 years.
Oh yeah.
Because in 15 years, don't get me wrong, man, I don't have a future forecasting understanding of where we're going to be in 15 years. I can make guesses. Some of them are going to be made mildly correct, but man, there's things that I have no idea. Like, is graphene going to have been developed by now? Are our phones going to be basically flexible? Is eyewear going to be something that you can flip on your face and it forms to your face and vision just on? Like, I have no idea, man. Like, no clue. But for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, if I can make my service the best, no matter what technology comes out, I should be the best service to distribute it. And what I'm excited about is augmented reality.
Yes, you've brought this up.
I'm heavily going to pursue myself, and we can see this, and this might be something cool about what you're doing and finding young entrepreneurs, is maybe by the time people watch me, they can look up where I've gone, and maybe I have the first digital optical shop at Microsoft's office and Apple's office, where you can interact with that optical shop with an app that by the time you walk in, the frames are all in every frame in that shop is already fitting your face.
Yeah.
Because that shop was curated for you, and you get to talk interactive with a designer and a stylist and optometrist and have questions and watch your frame get customized. Like, these are actually things that I can do and am going to be pursuing. And when it comes to augmented reality, I want to be Microsoft's go-to person for distributing their HoloLens, which is the glasses that you're going to put on, and they're going to be your computer and your TV, and you're going to walk into your house and see your Van Gogh painting hanging on the wall, but your wife sees her favorite movie from the 50s, and Audrey Hepburn films are on the wall while you see football and things on the wall. Like, at the end of the day, augmented reality is going to be something that gets to interact with your organic experience, like Magic Leap and HoloLens, but your life is tailored to you. And when that happens, your glasses can't slide down your face. Your vision needs to be within ANSI standard. And we're going to be the place that you're like, hey, can I talk to my optician? Boop. Hey man, how can I help you? Good to see you. Oh, I see what's happening. So do me a favor, take your glasses off your face. What we're gonna do is this, this, and this. Follow my instructions. So here's what you're gonna do, and go.
And I have seen you, for everyone, I have seen CJ over today deal with customers in between, trying to get this podcast shot. And CJ is that virtual assistant. And do you have a team of... Do you have collaborators?
So we actually already have been establishing a virtual interactive system for the last 18 months. It's literally something that by the time their technology is ready for us, I'm ready. And the only difficulty right now is the back-end system. Is the system that you see me and I'm ready for you, but look, you don't have a room of cameras pointing at you.
Yeah.
So what do I see of you?
Right.
And
so,
how seamless does that feel to you? That I'm interacting with you as a person right here in front of you, because what I see is data. And how is that data implemented to my people to make sure they're giving you such a seamless experience that this doesn't feel different to you than talking to a normal person? And that's where we're gonna reign supreme.
You still have, so tell me, like, when I have an issue with a glass, I get the C glass right here, and what are some common issues that people have?
It's infinite. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I've been doing eyewear now for 8 years. I still hear from people. I mean, there's literally a thing called a psycho adjustment. A psycho adjustment is, do me a favor, let me adjust this frame for you, and I would tell them, go make a cup of tea. It's gonna take me a little bit of time to research this, and I literally want them to take about 20 to 30 minutes to just get out of their head about something. And then I'm gonna have them blow dry the frame and do a couple of adjustments that by the time they put the frame on, their mind state changed and they can now see through their lens properly. They were in their head about vision issues. And once you get them out of that mentality, they can literally put the exact same frame on again. You didn't do anything, and they're like, oh, this is much better. It's called a psycho adjustment.
So this is a real edge case.
So we're talking about the element of eyewear goes from everything to mental to physical, to an opinion, mental to physical to back to real mental of their opinion. So we're talking about just a lot of elements that no matter what, when artificial intelligence and machine learning really kicks into gear, there's still going to need to be a major human element always involved.
Oh, I agree.
So that's where we're going to constantly reign supreme, is putting that human element in front of you.
So
I wish I could tell you some common issues. It's infinite. And it's going to maintain infinite. And once technology starts interfering with them, and someone starts letting me know that their Essilor lens has a digital glitch in it, my team is just going to have to constantly be evolving their knowledge of the technology.
So what kind of warranty do you offer?
I mean, I offer lifetime repair guarantees, a 1-year manufacturer's warranty, but with any eyewear I make, I like to be able to say that no matter what happens to your glasses for the rest of your life, there's nothing I can't fix.
Well, this is like...
And this is the biggest issue with eyewear, is you finally find your frame you love, and it becomes a frame that you love. And if you talk to everyone that wears eyewear, there's been a pair of glasses that at one point was, man, it was their favorite. And they broke it or they lost it, and they spent years trying to replace it. And because they've gotten so romantic about it, nothing has made them feel as good. I'm removing that. You're never going to lose your glasses. They fell in the ocean, I can remake them for you. Your dog chewed on them, I can repair that for you.
So do you keep files for each glass? And
Absolutely. I always have digital measurements and digital schematics of the frames that I've made for my clients.
So on that note, I think we're done. CJ.
All the best to you guys in the startup world. Keep hunting out there for your passion and your dreams.
Indeed.
And remember, this is not a financial game, but be smart.
Well, it goes back to that 15-year mindset, which
Try to look ahead.
I think is so important.